Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and Morbius was a movie, leaving us questioning whether we all saw the same ending of Spider-Man No Way Home, or if some folks might have seen an international re-edit of No Way Home that alters the logic of the memory wipe spell because for some markets, worldwide gaslighting hits a little Spider-Man close to home. I am gonna do my best to answer your questions about the ending and post-credit scenes of Morbius, but spoiler warning before I continue, I guess, even though the director of this movie a week ago clarified stuff about the post-credit scene on Twitter. Why? So, Morbius has two post-credit scenes, both including Michael Keaton, Adrian Toomes, after he and nearly every Spider-Man reference we saw in trailers for this movie were removed from the final cut of the main film. So, Dr. Michael Morbius, suffering from a blood disorder, develops a serum from human and bat DNA that gives him vampiric powers. A serum stolen by his old friend, another guy suffering from this disorder and the funder of his research, Lucien, aka Milo. Lucien steals the serum, frames Michael for the murder, sending him to prison, but then after Michael figures out it was him, he breaks out and battles Lucien in the subway. And then, fearing from his own increasing need for blood and what Lucien might do with these powers, Michael develops a new serum to kill living vampires. Lucien kills their mentor, played by Jared Harris, and injures Martine. Michael has to bite Martine to save her life, but also powering himself up, leading to an aerial battle in New York that goes down into the sewers, where Michael summons a swarm of bats to pin down Lucien and hit him with that serum. Martine wakes up, herself now a living vampire. Then on to the credits, which gives us more MCU connectivity than we really know what to do with. In the first scene, we see a nighttime shot of Manhattan with purple rifts streaking through the sky, same as the ones in the final battle of Spider-Man No Way Home. Then shot inside a prison facility, of light streaming through a cell window, and inside that cell is Michael Keaton, Adrian Toomes, last seen in Spider-Man Homecoming, a movie set in the MCU. The glow fades and he touches himself in disbelief, looking at his reflection in the glass mirror that they definitely install in prisoner cells, and says to himself, "Hope the food's better in this joint." Then we cut to a report from New York Spectrum 1 News, a bizarre story developing at the Manhattan Detention Center when a man identifying himself as Adrian Toomes simply appeared in an otherwise empty cell. A hearing has been set that could likely lead to his immediate release. Top story there, not the giant purple cracks in the sky. Hey, it's New York. Then footage of Toomes being escorted out of the prison into an SUV for that hearing, likely footage from the scene where in the trailers he crossed paths with Michael Morbius.
Michael Morbius. Got tired of doing the whole good guy thing, huh?
What's up, Doc?
Dr. Mike, you and I should stay in touch.
Again, an interaction that was not in the main film. Then we cut to black, and then on to the second post-credit scene. Morbius drives a sports car out to a remote location. He checks his watch, the wind blows, and Toomes swoops in with the Vulture suit that we saw in Spider-Man Homecoming, but it does look slightly different. It's a bit more rickety, and his oxygen mask is now pointed to look like a vulture beak. He says, "Thanks for meeting me, Doc. I've been reading about you." Morbius says, "I'm listening." Toomes says, "I'm not sure how I got here. Has to do with Spider-Man, I think. I'm still figuring this place out, but I think a bunch of guys like us should team up. Do some good." And Morbius responds, "Intriguing." Now, it is clear that Sony's intention is to set up a Sinister Six film, finally! Even confirmed by the director to CinemaBlend. He also confirmed that this movie is set in the universe of Venom, and Venom Let There Be Carnage, the same universe Eddie Brock returned to in that No Way Home post-credit scene. Thus Morbius' reference to Venom in his joke earlier. And the director confirmed that this universe has a Spider-Man in it, but would not yet say which one. Only that, quote, "It is my understanding that audiences will discover that answer soon." Since Tobey Maguire's universe had its own Venom, and since he signals that they see the MCU as a distinctly separate universe, that leaves Andrew Garfield as the likeliest option of the Spider-Man of this universe, which after No Way Home is something we'd all definitely love to see. But the Spider-Man of this universe could also be a live-action Miles Morales, who was alluded to by Andrew Garfield, Peter Parker, and Max Dillon's exchange in No Way Home.
I just thought you was gonna be black.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
I don't apologize. There's gotta be a black Spider-Man somewhere out there.
But it's also possible that both Andrew Garfield and Miles Morales could be introduced in this future Sinister Six film, a film that'll likely also include Kraven the Hunter, and maybe also Chameleon, Black Cat, Scorpion, Rhino, and Madam Web, all characters that Sony's actively developing. Now, using experimental bat-based medicine to cure yourself can have some unexpected consequences and negative side effects. Similarly, the electronics we use every day have big negative side effects. They turn into e-waste. When you throw electronics away, they become e-waste, which represents almost 70 70% of the global toxic waste output. A great way to help keep toxic e-waste out of landfills is by purchasing renewed electronics, and our friends at Back Market have built an amazing marketplace that offers expertly renewed smartphones, laptops, and other tech for a fraction of the normal cost. We've been using this sweet 2020 rose gold iPad Air from Back Market, and we love it! It looks brand new, it costs way less than buying new, and it didn't turn into e-waste. That's a sweet tablet. Every purchase comes with a 1-year warranty, 30 days to change your mind, and free standard shipping. Plus, with Back Market's new buyback program, you can also sell your old tech for cash. Use code ROCKSTAR and save $20 on your first purchase of expertly renewed tech. That's an extra $20 off an already great deal. So break up with new tech and find your next device at backmarket.com. That's Back Market, not Black Market. However, we should also note that Toomes and Morbius' team up was to, quote, do some good, and they did not directly antagonize Spider-Man. So maybe Toomes still has some goodwill for Spider-Man for saving his life in Homecoming, and they might actually help him against the Sinister Six. But how did Toomes acquire his Vulture suit if he transported into this universe merely in his prisoner jumpsuit? Well, the director said only that it's not quite the same suit as Homecoming. He is a resourceful guy. Okay, but the whole point of Spider-Man Homecoming is that Toomes and his crew built weapons out of Chitauri tech taken after the Battle of New York. They weren't building this kind of weaponry otherwise. The core theme of Spider-Man Homecoming was that the Avengers' actions had street-level consequences, one of whom was Spider-Man and the problems he had to deal with. So without Chitauri tech in this universe, how would Toomes be able to reassemble the wings from a box of scraps? Why? Really, the bigger question is how Adrian Toomes even arrived to this universe. Because according to Spider-Man No Way Home, the flawed Runes of Kafka's spell transports people who know Peter Parker as Spider-Man from other universes into the reality where that spell was cast, the MCU. And at the end of that movie, all those intruders were returned to their home realities. But Adrian Toomes was already in the MCU. The MCU is his home reality. There's no reason he should have been transported out of the reality where the spell was cast into some other random reality, and no reason for him to stay in that other random reality forever after Doctor Strange finished the spell. At the very least, he should have gone back home. The director tried to explain, quote, at the end of Venom Let There Be Carnage, in Spider-Man No Way Home, and in No Way Home itself, it is clearly established that it is possible for characters to transfer from one universe to another. The events of No Way Home had the effect of transferring Venom and Vulture, and maybe others, back and forth between the MCU and the Venom universe. Obviously that was not clearly established at all, but he uses the words back and forth. So I guess according to this new logic, it doesn't matter that the spell was cast in the MCU, and it doesn't matter that Doctor Strange patched it. Those purple cracks just represent a kind of revolving door through which anyone who knew Peter was Spider-Man on either side of that barrier could randomly transport in either direction. I mean, dude, by your logic, those others stolen from the MCU by the Venomverse, now in those neighboring cells beside Toomes, could be Hulk or Thor or Wang. I mean, why not take everyone, Sony? I just pray that Madam Web gives us a better explanation. Like perhaps all Peter Parkers are connected by such a strong shared arachno frequency that Andrew Garfield Peter Parker emitted a kind of magnetism that drew back with him into the Venomverse someone in the MCU who knew that Peter was Spider-Man, in this case, Adrian Toomes. I mean, who knows? Maybe it was even orchestrated by Madam Web to balance the cosmic scales, because she knew that Peter and Miles would need Adrian Toomes more than Tom Holland would need him. I mean, I don't know. I don't really care. Just give us something more than... Why? You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars and subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis and attempts to analyze everything that you love. Or maybe don't love. Either way, thank you for watching. Bye.